Today we are talking about the hymn, Lo He Comes with Clouds Descending. It's number 336 in the Lutheran Service Book, and you might be thinking we're a week early for this because it is in the Advent section of our hymnal, but it is actually the assigned hymn of the day for the last Sunday of the church year. So it's the hymn of the day. It's really our text for the day. It's sort of a theme of the day, and it's also the bulletin cover. So Jesus coming with clouds descending. So we're going to talk about it today. Now, this hymn on the bottom of the page you'll see was written by Charles Wesley, and that's the brother of John Wesley, who translated our hymn from last week. And he is also the Wesley brother who is most known for his musical contributions, although both of them were contributed. Also Samuel, all of them did some music. Okay, the Wesley family was musical. But this hymn is actually Charles's rework of a hymn by John Sennick, who was a hymn writer who was a Quaker, and then an Anglican, and then a Moravian, and then an Independent. So just basically a bunch of things, although not a Methodist, interestingly, which is maybe why Charles reworked this one for his crew. But yes, Wesley's Methodist rework, his rework of this hymn. And it was basically a total rewrite. He doesn't take a lot of the same language, although he does maintain the same theme. So sometimes it sounds the same. And that theme, of course, is the return of Christ. And I mentioned that that's our text for this week. We read in our gospel reading from Mark chapter 13, Jesus said, "In those days, they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven." And so, of course, that passage also talking about the last days, which we are in now, but specifically the last day, the day when Jesus returns to reign. And this hymn describes that last day, that event of Jesus coming. Jesus will come, first verse, with clouds descending. He will descend in the same manner that he ascended, with the clouds. And verse 2 tells us that everyone, both believers and rejectors, will have no choice but to recognize him as their true Messiah, is what verse 2 says. And then stanza 3 is actually one of my favorites. There's going to be no question about who this man is or how he won forgiveness and eternal life, because this man, Jesus, is going to return with those dear tokens of his passion, those wounds in his hands and in his feet, with those visible for everybody to see, just like they were visible to Thomas and the disciples when Jesus rose from the dead. So then we get to the last verse, verse 4. And as we await that day of Christ's return, the hymn ends with a verse of praise. A verse of praise to Christ that also calls on him to come and to claim his kingdom. That day of claiming that we await with great joy. So this hymn goes through what the day's going to look like. It's like an itinerary, almost, I suppose, if you want to call it that. And all of it set to Ralph Vaughan Williams' rework of a wonderful tune, and that combination, a Charles Wesley text, a Ralph Vaughan Williams tune, you've got a hit on your hands. And this version in our hymnal really is it's Wesley's version of the hymn, which I really enjoy. But many hymnals, as I was looking through different texts today, many hymnals actually use Sennick's version, that original version, or even a combination of the two, taking like the first couple verses of Wesley and then a couple of the others. But ours is truly Wesley's version. Although I should tell you that there are a couple of adjustments, and I don't really want to talk about those a whole lot, but I do have a quiz for you as we leave. One of the changes that I really want to point out, because I want to see what you guys have to say about it. So in verse 1, it says, "Lo, he comes with clouds descending." The original text continues with, "Once for favored sinners slain." Okay, "Lo, he comes with clouds descending, once for favored sinners slain." The version that we have in our hymnal says, "Lo, he comes with clouds descending, once for every sinner slain." And that is a change that the editors of Lutheran Worship made. And so my question to you guys is, why might we want to change that? Why might it be useful for us to change that word favored to every? And I would wait until the next video, but I'm going to reveal it here just because then you guys don't have to go and look for it. But if you answered because the idea of favored sinners seems to suggest that Jesus didn't die for everybody, then yeah, that I think is the very reason that they changed it. Charles Wesley did not believe in limited atonement. He didn't believe that Jesus only died for a select few, but that idea is out there in the Christian world that Jesus only died for the elect. So the editors of Lutheran Worship changed that once for every sinner slain. He died for all people of the earth. So yeah, there you go. Little quiz as we head home. Well, as you guys head home. I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to choir practice. I'm actually 2 minutes late. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time. Bye.